Defeated, the delegation returned to Frankfurt. Things got even worse later that month, when it became apparent that Prussia and other key states like Bavaria would not adopt the constitution. On April 5th, the Austrian delegates left Frankfurt. By then it was clear that the revolution was doomed. On May 14th, the Prussian delegates left Frankfurt as well. An election called for by Heinrich von Gagern did not take place, further weakening the influence of the National Assembly. What was left of the Frankfurt Parliament moved to Stuttgart, the capital of Württemberg. But by then it was paralyzed by infighting between radicals and moderates. On June 18th, the parliament was forcibly dissolved by the government of Württemberg.
Let flutter whatever can flutter, banners flutter and flags. We want today, every man, to urge ourselves to heroic death. Up, fly high, victory banner, before the bold ranks. We conquer or die here, the sweet death of free men.
Starting in May, radical Democrats made a last-ditch effort to enforce the constitution, at least in parts of Germany. In Saxony, revolutionaries proclaimed a Saxon republic, but were utterly crushed by invading Prussian troops. In Baden, the garrison in the city of Rastatt mutinied on May 11th. 2 days later, Grand Duke Leopold fled the country. On June 1st, the liberal politician Lorenz Brentano proclaimed the Republic of Baden. But once again, the revolutionary efforts were hamstrung by internal division. In late June, radical Democrats around Gustav Struve, who had been freed during the mutiny in May, forced Brentano out of office. Like others before him, he fled to Switzerland and later to the United States. On July 23rd, Prussian troops conquered Rastatt and put an end to the uprising. Now the revolution was truly over. In 1850, the German Confederation was officially restored. But while the revolution had accomplished neither unification nor liberation of Germany, it had not been a complete failure. The new judicial system of jury courts remained in place, and the new relative freedom of the press led to a multitude of new journals and newspapers, like the Neue Rheinische Zeitung by communist leader Karl Marx, the Neue Preußische Zeitung, co-founded by the future Prussian minister-president Otto von Bismarck, or the satirical magazine Kladderadatsch. Many former revolutionaries, like Wilhelm Liebknecht and Ferdinand Lassalle, two of the founding fathers of German social democracy, found their way into politics. Others went into exile in the United States, where they made their mark on history as the so-called 48ers. Lorenz Brentano ended up in Illinois, where he served as a state representative before being elected to Congress. His old rival, Gustav Struve, moved to New York, where in 1860 he joined the regiment of Ludwig Blenker, another German revolutionary, to fight in the American Civil War. His friend Friedrich Hecker also engaged in the Civil War by recruiting an entire regiment of German expats, which was led by General Franz Sigel, who had fought with him at Kandun. And the former student leader Karl Schurz, who had fought in Baden during the May uprisings of 1849, also served as a Union general in the American Civil War, and later as Secretary of the Interior under President Rutherford B. Hayes. The revolution had been defeated, but what the German Confederation could not squash was the desire of the German people for a unified nation. And almost 25 years later, the Germans would receive it, although not through a revolution, but through the shrewdness and genius of one of the greatest politicians history had ever seen.